Morning, sunshine.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
We get to shoot another video. So this is a new CNC cutting machine used to cut the upper leather. We had one that we pretty much maxed out the capacity. We're doing a little over 100 pair a day right now, and we need to be able to take that next step. And this is going to allow us to roughly triple our capacity here as far as cutting goes. So this machine's really cool. The old one, essentially you lay out the leather, you figure out where you want all the pieces placed, you hit cut, and then you have to walk away and wait for the machine to cut all the pieces. On this one, you're able to lay them out. It runs on a conveyor, so once you do the layout, that moves to a center section that cuts, and then that section moves to the finished section where a second operator can offload. So for the most part, we can keep the knife running non-stop.
Did you have a good weekend?
I had a great weekend.
What'd you do?
So I went up to the Northern Rendezvous, and I am the fry pan throwing champion. You have to chuck a fry pan as far as you can, and I was just about 40 feet, and I even have a picture to prove it.
Oh my word. I have never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Cool.
Over here, this is the sectional warp dresser. This basically takes a section of yarn, however thick you need it to be, and you repeat that section as many times as you need to equal the total amount for the warp you're making. It's a very big spinning drum, and this is probably, I believe, around the 80s. I don't have any real information on it, and I can't even find the data plate for it, so I'm guessing it's somewhere in the 80s based off the color of it matching the old blooms. You gotta make sure you get everything set out and zeroed first. We got a yard counter on the left and a rotation counter. We use the rotation counter because it's more accurate for us. So. Then you got to set your spacing for your yarn. You got to get that very exact. It has a nice ruler down here so you can get it pretty accurate. So right now I'm just getting the yarn lined up. I have it set in this hole here because I need this yarn when it comes through this reed to line up exactly where the last one was, or else it will cause a lot of issues. And now I'm actually going to get a lease right now. The lease helps us with tying in, so it separates every yarn high or low. So I basically take this stick and separate all the yarn one after the other, move it forward. Then I can lock that in, and I can go to my lease. That yellow cord right there, that is our lease. That is what helps us tie in a lot better by separating every other yarn. And here's where I check to make sure this is going to line up nice and neat on that. And it is. See, it's nestled, this section I'm laying down, it's nestled right up against the last one, which is great. That's right where I want it. And I just tell it to go. Make sure those are all lined up. And now, it actually has a brake detector over there on the creel, so if anything breaks or one of these loses tension, it will just immediately stop this and I can go fix it. Other than that, it will only stop until it hits its rotation counter. Right now, on every single section we run, it does about, I want to say 750 yards. So then you multiply that by 25 and you realize how much one cone of yarn actually has on it, because it's only using the same cone. So I think it came out to 22,000 yards on each cone, which is really impressive. So from here, the end goal is to make it into this. That's the end goal. We come back here on this side. This is the opposite end. This actually takes it and spins it off of this drum here and onto the warp beam. I don't know if there's other places that actually have a machine that's capable of just taking all like the yarn you need in one movement. This does it in pieces and makes a really big product in the end. From here, I just twist it to make it easier to locate where all the yarn is, and then just cut it and get ready for the next one.
From the beginning, our goal was always to eventually transition into a higher class of boot with the Moc Toe, as well as the welted boot. This is our Moc Toe stitcher.
This just takes the leather, bunches it together, and throws a stitch into it, which is different than just about any other machine we have here.
We're gonna go through the Goodyear Welt line. It's a completely different process for actually lasting the boot than we do now. So it's a whole new process we had to learn from scratch. Some of the guys were really great getting the machines up and running and basically self-teaching themselves how to do all of this. So it's pretty amazing. To start, everything starts right here.
This machine is the rib layer, and it lays a piece of material, it glues a piece of material to the bottom of our midsole that the welt will eventually be stitched to and through the upper. This has little feet that walk and press it down. The rib lay is a fairly crucial process because if you get this off, then none of the rest comes out right. This is our staple side laster. This turns wire into staples and pinches the leather tight against the rib. It's what holds the leather upper to the midsole until we stitch it. This machine is the namesake of the welted boot. This is the Goodyear inseam stitcher. It can stitch all different types of welt onto that rib that we just perfectly made all the way around the boot. It uses tree rosin in the thread to create a better hold. It was made in the 1960s and hasn't changed since. Originally, these machines ran off of a steam engine that ran the entire building. I feel pretty honored to be running this machine. That's the reason I'm sweating, not because it's hard, but because I'm focused. About halfway through the heel turn, you hit this button with your knee to activate the auto knife so it lines up the cut every time. This is a Goodyear inseam trimmer, and this sucks the boot in and trims the very edge of that to give it a nice flat profile with that terrifying blade. And also, everything is driven by leather belts.
Oh yeah. Look at
Everything is literally driven by leather belts.
So this is the cork. So this is pretty unique to the kind of the Goodyear Welt process. In our current process, when the boot's side lasted, you get a little area and we place either a shank or some foam in there to give a little comfort and some support. But with the Goodyear Welt, we actually put cork in here. And what's really unique about the cork is it'll actually mold to your foot over time, so you get a more comfortable, better fitting boot. So it's actually pretty cool.
It's awesome, yeah.
And that is a welted boot. From here, we'll glue it, put the midsole on it, and then put whatever sole type we want on it.
John, what are we going to grab?
I'd just be better if I show you.
John Milan.
Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, snap! Look at that.
The first pairs of the Moc Toes going out. Yes, this is all of our wear test samples. So basically, we're sending them out to people who wear boots all the time. John always has boots on, except for today, he's giving his dog some rest. But yeah, we just want people to wear them, and so that way we know if the sizing's right, if how the wear is going to do, how the stitch in the Moc Toe is going to hold up.
Let me get the good side. Oh, wait, they're all good sides.
Alex,
Exquisite, how are you, sir?
how we doing, man?
Terrible, but thanks for asking.
All right, good.
Doing good.
At least it's going.
Good to see you guys.
Gotta
town
love
Maine.
small town. Yeah, I was just about to say that. That's awesome.
3 weeks later.
I heard you got a dirty pair of Moc Toes.
You mean well-loved pair of Moc Toes. So,
Man.
yeah, this is what, two weeks, I think? I have horses, so I've got You know, been out on my tractor, clearing land, working in the field, stuff like that. But like through the toe box is so much more comfortable. And also these loops to like get them on and off with the speed laces. Oh, like had to brush a lot of the dirt off them just to get them looking this good.